The 49ers just lost 31-17 to the Cincinnati Bengals and now sit at second place in the NFC West after losing 3 straight. Here are the 49ers grades for this performance. Brock Purdy, F. For the second game in a row, he was the main reason the 49ers lost. He threw 2 picks in the second half when the game was in the balance. He also fumbled once, which means he committed 3 turnovers. He also threw a pass that almost was picked but was dropped by a linebacker in the second quarter. Plus, he threw another interception that was negated due to a roughing the passer penalty. Suddenly, the clock has struck midnight on the Brock Purdy Cinderella story. He's turning into a pumpkin before our very eyes. Actually, he's turning into Jimmy Garoppolo. To be fair, Purdy is a much better scrambler than Garoppolo. Purdy rushed for a team-high 57 yards in this game, and most of those runs were scrambles. But when it comes to actually throwing the football, he's Garoppolo 2.0. Call him Purdy G. He finds ways to throw interceptions to linebackers standing right in front of him. In this game, his first pick went to a linebacker standing literally feet away from him. It was one of the worst picks you'll ever see. Purdy is becoming a turnover machine, which is what he was in training camp. It was only a matter of time before his penchant for turning the ball over popped up in real games. Now it's time for the 49ers to be honest about Purdy. He's not the real deal. He's not their franchise quarterback. They need to bench him during the bye week and see what they have in Sam Darnold. Maybe he can commit fewer turnovers. Running backs, A-. Christian McCaffrey scored 2 touchdowns and gained 118 yards from scrimmage while averaging a respectable 4.5 yards per carry behind an offensive line that was missing Trent Williams. Wide receivers, B. Brandon Ayuk was the only wide receiver on the team who could get open. He had 109 receiving yards, but he also let a pass hit him in the face. Had he caught it, the Niners would have been in field goal range before halftime. Tight ends, A-. George Kittle gained a whopping 149 yards, but also dropped 2 passes. Still, he was one of their best players on the field. Offensive linemen, C-. Their run blocking was decent, and they gave up only 2 sacks, but Purdy escaped lots of pressure. Defensive linemen, D. Eric Armstead was excellent. He had 2 sacks, more than he's had the past 2 seasons combined. The rest of the defensive line was invisible. Nick Bosa had half a sack and now has just 4 in his past 13 games. That's a troubling trend. He also gave up the final touchdown of the game on a run by Joe Mixon. Bosa hasn't come close to living up to his contract. Neither is Javon Hargrave. Linebackers, D. Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw combined for 18 tackles, but also seemed to combine for 18 missed tackles as the Bengals rushed for 5 yards per carry. Defensive backs, F. They let Joe Burrow complete 28 of 32 passes. That's hard to do in a walkthrough against air. The Niners actually had 11 defenders on the field and still gave up a completion percentage of 88. Unheard of. I can't remember a 49er secondary ever playing worse. They need to trade for a cornerback tomorrow. Special teams, A. Can't blame Jake Moody for this loss. He made his 1 field goal attempt. Coaches, F. The 49ers need to fire Steve Wilks tonight. Nothing he calls works. In the first half, he called mostly zone coverage with 2 deep safeties and got gashed. In the second half, he called mostly press man coverage with 1 deep safety and still got gashed. The players don't seem to have bought into whatever he's trying to do, and the defense is playing with no confidence. Blame Kyle Shanahan for hiring a defensive coordinator who never has run the wide 9 to run the wide 9. That decision was doomed from the beginning. So was the decision to play Purdy in this game just 6 days after he suffered a concussion. Purdy was awful. Plus, he bounced his head off the turf in the 4th quarter. Shanahan should have saved Purdy from himself and started Sam Darnold. He couldn't have been worse. For the 3rd week in a row, Shanahan's offense has scored just 17 points. And since he has been the head coach, the 49ers are 0-37 when trailing by 8 or more points in the 4th quarter. Some offensive genius he is. The 49ers never should have extended his contract after week 3. He now has been outcoached 3 weeks in a row. Let's see if he finds any answers during the upcoming bye week.